What's up, sports bettors? Quick video. Should be an oddly good game of two struggling teams. We have the Saints and the Vikings, and I have a very good bet locked in. So what we're looking at is, just kind of the odds, money line odds, point spread, total. Total 43.5, 44, depending on the book. Of course, always shop around. Make sure you're getting the best line. We say this all the time, but if you're not looking for value and you're just placing bets on one sports book, you're never going to make money in the long run. Making money sports betting ain't easy, right? And it's definitely not about knowing sports. It's about understanding math, the markets. And if you're placing bets, on over 44 points at minus 107, when you could either get over 43.5 points at minus 110 or over 44 points at plus 100, you're screwed, right? You're not going to make money sports betting. So the Saints are slight underdogs. Best offered kind of around plus 126. Best price on the Vikings, minus 137. So you can see the Betfair exchange is giving you, a very low juice market. They're giving you the best prices on the Saints and the Vikings. And that's because it's a very active, very sharp betting market, right? So it's very useful. It's completely free to browse odds on OddsJam from all the sports books in your location for any sport, right? And just kind of like the one thing, like the reason we started OddsJam is just kind of like sports bettors need to not get ripped off. It's kind of intuitive to people who have made a lot of money betting on sports, people who do this full time for a living, sharp sports bettors. But to other people, maybe it's not. Like if you're placing bets at plus 115, it may not seem like a big difference versus plus 126. But if you're trying to get serious, about your sports betting, you need to be price conscious. You need to make sure you're getting the best line. And, 11-cent differences may not seem massive, but they're massive in the long run, right? They're massive in the long run. So the play I ended up going with, in kind of a way that I think is very helpful to think about it, that someone told me when I first started betting on sports, is if you go to a sports book, right? Most sports books have, if we go to football, so let's just go to football real quick. Most sports books have minus 110 juice on spreads and totals, right? So some sports books like Pointsbet, where our bet is actually today, have lower juice, less vig, but most sports books are, hey, on both the over and the under, you have to bet $11 to win back 10. That's the sports book's advantage. For both the over and the under, they're making you bet 11 to profit 10 if you win. But if you lose 11. So you're losing 11, winning 10 on both the over and the under. That's the sportsbook's advantage. That's the vig. So really, to be profitable at sports betting long term and beat the minus 110 juice, all you have to do is win 52.4% of your bets, right? Sharp sports bettors, like I've probably bet hundreds of millions of dollars in point spreads, totals at this point, and you're not looking to win 70% of your point spread bets, right? That would be great, but it's never going to happen. You're looking to win 55% of your bets. That means you have an edge in the long run, right? Sharps, pro sports bettors, people who do this full time for a living, they're winning on spreads totals 55% of the time, right? Just 55. Recreational bettors win 50% of the time. So you got to always look for those spots where you can squeak out value and beat the market, beat the closing line, and increase the win probability of your wager from 50 to 55%. So the play I ended up going with is actually a point spread play. You can see most bookmakers kind of have the spread at 2.5, and this is why my bet is so good, right? 2.5 to 3 is a massive difference in football, right? Like the Vikings win by a field goal. If we had the Saints plus 3, we would be pushing. Everyone who has the Saints plus 2.5 is losing, right? So especially around the key numbers, 3, 6, 7, 10, 14, you really want to make sure you're analyzing the odds and picking up value where you can. So most sports books have the spread as Vikings minus 2.5. I was able to pick up Saints plus 3. And there's only a couple sports books that even offer the alternate markets. You'll notice if we go back here, DraftKings, they offer these alternate markets on point spreads as well as Pinnacle. So Pinnacle's, the sharpest bookmaker actually, a very efficient betting market. So they offer these alternate ones. And we were able to get the Saints +3 at -107 when every sportsbook is juicing this -120, -121. So these sportsbooks are basically the same. I just think they have slightly lower juice, but you'll notice Resorts World Bet, if you're in New York, has basically identical lines to PointsBet. But here you can see like DraftKings pricing this at -120. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, they only have 14 cents of juice in their market. They're pricing this at -121. So this bet has a 2.08% profit margin. So I ended up hitting it, which you can see right here. And by the way, we absolutely have been crushing it. So we got the Saints +3 -107 for $500. So what I'll do is go here and I'll just add Saints +3 -107, -107 for $500, and this is on 10/1. So this is on Sunday, or 10/2, October 2nd, right? So hopefully you've been tailing the plays on this YouTube. We don't win every bet. Like, it's always funny to me when people comment and they're like, yo, that bet lost. It's like, bro, we're up 15.4K. We had the Cowboys huge. Looks like FanDuel logged me out, but as you know from last week, that was one of our biggest positive EV bets. We won $5,000 on it alone on the money line. We also had their first half spread. 46.25 we had on the money line at +108 odds. That was a positive EV bet. So again, like, we're not going to win every single day sports betting. It's just not, unfortunately, how it works. But what you'll notice is when you're placing bets that have an edge, that have a mathematical profit margin, right, you win in the long run, which is really what matters, of course. So this bet has a 2.08% profit margin, right? We hit it for $500, wager size. I'm riding it. I put my own money on all these plays. So we have $500 at a 2.08% profit margin. So the bet's worth $10.40 in profit margin, quantified in dollars, not in percent, right? So to get your profit margin in dollars, you just take the percent profit margin, you multiply it by your stake, right? So if you tried to give me a $10 bill for my bet, I'd tell you, no, go away. My bet's worth $10.40. So I wouldn't even trade you my bet on the Saints +3 at -107 odds for $10 because my bet's worth $10.40, right? And that's how sharp bettors think. When your bet has an edge and you can quantify that edge, it's just mathematical sports betting. You're finding value, the soft spots in sports books, and OddsJam has millions of odds, updating in real time. So OddsJam just pinpoints, hey, here are those few rare betting opportunities where you actually have a mathematical edge as the bettor. So Saints +3, ridiculous value. Most sportsbooks having the spread at 2.5. Pinnacle having this at -121. 2.08% profit margin. I hit it, right? And now my goal is just, okay, place as many positive EV bets as I can, right? We got one down. Let's go place another 50. It's a volume game. Like, I've gone through this before, but if your average bet size is $100, let's say your average bet has a profit margin of 2%, and you want to earn $1,000 a month, you got to place 16 bets a day. And you'll basically every single month earn $1,000. You'll see it for yourself, right? Every bet has a 2% like, the math just works out. You're not going to win every bet. Again, in this spreadsheet where we're up, 15.4K, there are a lot of losses, which you'll notice, but everything will be up and to the right when you're positive EV betting. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let's make some frickin' money.